Welcome back to Pro League, everybody, live at the Nexon Arena. We're in the midst of a pretty fiery battle here between SK Telecom T1 and Jin Air Green Wings, one that SK Telecom is getting the better of.
Yeah. 2-0 lead. The momentum is in their favor. Now it's time for SOS to try to turn things around. 11-10. Pretty much a 50-50 score. The same could be said of his versus Zerg stats with 3-3. An incredible overall Pro League total at 86-56, but this year, definitely not looking as strong.
Yeah. Had a much better ratio in last season, actually. Was one of the most winning Protosses up there with Hero tied for, I think it was 20 wins. But this time not as dominant. Not nearly as much so. And his opponent looking much better in recent times. SOS is doing a little bit better, you know, in very, very recent times. And he did make it to the round of 4 of the last GSL, so not terrible, but he's, I think soO definitely doing a lot better.
soO is 13-3. That's an incredible record. He hasn't actually played as many games as some of our most winning players, but, you know, that record, that ratio of wins is incredible.
I mean, if you look at Classic and Dream as well and how many wins they have, they're both like 13-3 too. It's because SKT has so many amazing players that they just don't get to come out as often. They're not like some of these teams like Jin Air where Maru comes out literally every day, and if he doesn't, they lose. It's like they just have like 6 or 7 strong players that could come out on any given day.
An elite group of badasses, man.
Yeah, they have incredible ratios, but you just don't get to see it at the top of the winners ranking.
Yeah, I think like every SKT player is probably like in top 12.
Something like that. Pretty much. The guys are about to jump into game number 3 here on Cactus Valley between SOS and soO. Down here in the bottom left in the green, a Protoss player coming out once again. It is SOS.
$, oh $, big winner. Down here the bottom right, it's soO, the angry Zerg.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned big winner, by the way. I think he's won $300,000, something close to that.
Yeah.
Imagine what you can buy with $300,000.
Well, it's a lot of things, man.
Yeah. You could nearly buy a house.
Buy 300,000 kimbobs.
Wow. Nearly 300,000 bottles of soju from the Pyeongchang.
Yeah.
Funny the way math works, Wolf.
I would consider that. I would consider that option.
Yeah. You could make a house of soju bottles, maybe,
and live in it. Oh my god.
But then if you jump too hard, you get a bunch of glass in your foot, and it's no longer nearly as fun.
It needs to have some good insulation.
Yeah.
It could be a nice summer house.
Well, with how many chemicals there are in soju, I wouldn't be surprised if it got pretty warm in there.
Well, the soju bottles have to be
reason
empty,
or another.
right?
It's like radioactive, actually, inside the house. You can't actually go in there. It's just for show.
Greenhouse, man. Soju. Literally.
Wow.
Anyways.
You've done it, Wolf. I'm like, we've won the conversation, right? Like, let's close that off. And let's start talking about the game.
Looks like it's going to be a Nexus first. Oh, it's really interesting to me they would send SOS on Cactus Valley of all maps. He must have something special prepared. Because Cactus Valley,
I think was hoping to hit a Terran, to be honest.
You think so? That's a fair
he comes out here all the time, and he goes for that weird proxy Oracle build that Terrans still have trouble against, even though it's like, okay, if you're going against a Protoss on Cactus Valley, just prepare for it, make turrets. But some Terrans still can't deal with it.
Fun fact, this is actually our first PvZ today.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I know you've like done the math in your head, or rather the calc, or you know.
It's hard to believe, right? We usually see a lot of these.
I'm like, what? No way.
And had he hit a Terran here,
you're actually right.
Would have had no PvZs.
Yeah.
So that's pretty rare for Pro League.
At this I know some Zergs aren't the happiest with this matchup as it is right now. So maybe some people out there are happy.
Yeah. I feel like at this point in the PvZ meta, we're seeing a few different Protoss styles. Like, Phoenixes have made somewhat of a comeback. Oracle opening's still really popular to take a third base. And all-ins are on the rise again. Timing attacks, even +1 attacks sometimes, because the Forge openings got really popular again. The fake cannon is, like, super, super popular. I'm actually surprised we didn't even see SOS to it. He's, like, the king of cannon rushing, right? So he decides to go Nexus first instead on this 4-player map.
Yeah, kind of taking a new approach, not even a Forge being made. And let's see what he decides to go for here. Not enough gas to go for any tech just yet. Just going to make a Stalker and work your research first.
And on the other side of things, sOo is going for a very quick Zergling speed. And with this speed, let's see what he decides to do with it. Could just be for safety. Back at home, he's mining gas with just 1 drone. Still hasn't taken a third base. He knows the timing of the Cyber Core, so he doesn't want to be too risky with this. Does plant it now at 520-ish.
Yeah, we're getting all the timings out there for you guys. Still. We're going to see 1 Sentry as well as a Forge coming down. Finally, no other tech just yet. Maybe just looking to take a faster third base.
Yeah, I think it's possible to see him add 2 more gates. We could also see him add a Robo. The Nexus would be a good option as well. He just needs to wait a little bit longer before he does so, if that's what he's going to do. Maybe see 1 more Sentry with that. Yep. No Mothership, or no, he has no Mothership.
Still no gates. Still no Nexus. There they are.
Mothership Core's at the front. That's why I got confused.
I was going to say, is he going to, like, try to get a Nexus out before his 2 gates? It's, like, extremely risky, especially with the speed that sOo now has.
Now taking his third gas.
Yeah. I remember the last game we saw on this map, I think it was Biel versus some Protoss. It was either Zest or Stats. I think it may have been Zest even. Maybe it was Stats. I don't know. Either way, it was in that SSL group, and he made 3 spores blind, and he just pumped up to like 65 drones.
Yeah, it was Stats. I remember now.
And then he just attacked him with Ling Hydra and killed him.
Yep.
On this gigantic map, you can kind of get away with it if the Protoss is never going to pressure you, which is kind of what we're seeing out of sOo, or rather out of SOS as well.
Yeah. This is a very kind of timid early game here. He's building up to do that Sentry pressure, but Oracle hallucinate fake here as he takes the third base. The Overlord actually just had a vision of this.
There it is again, the Hydra Den coming down, no Rotoring.
Let's see if we can hold this Sentry aggression, though. I was actually just going to keep it at its third.
Yeah, it's just there for safety.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That is gigantic. Getting 2 and he gets a full scout of the base.
Full scout, possibly a probe killer, too. Going to see that Forge spinning. Sees no Robo. Knows his third base is there.
Yeah, and he's just going to go for Hydras. We're going to see a very similar build to what we saw from Biel. He's just looking to put on the pressure, and when you only have Sentries out here with no tech, you're going to have +1, which is going to be good against the big swell of Lings that follows us up, but at the same time, it can be very, very deadly.
Just constantly being annoying with the Zerglings still, meanwhile. 12 Hydras about to pop.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if SOS will have an answer for this, because so far, Protosses have not.
I just don't think he will. He's going to have pure gateway units, a small amount of them at that. Only 1 cannon at the third base. He's going to need a lot of cannons. Force fields he does have, but nothing. Once he traps the Hydras, what's he going to kill them with? Sentries?
Yeah, and it's really just going to be about delaying, trying to get out as many warp ends as possible, like getting 3 extra Stalkers, maybe some extra Zealots to deal with the Lings in the front.
We have an Infestation Pit to follow this up. So possibly just going to do a Viper follow-up. After he does a little bit of damage, just finish the job. Uh-oh, he does not want to get those units caught, but again, Zergling's on top of this.
Zerglings get right on top and already sniping a bunch of these Sentries. They're all going down. The force fields only went down there on the bottom of the ramp, and that was it. So much of the Protoss army gets wiped out immediately, and now there's no defense at the third base. But he's just going to go for the throat.
Yeah, exactly like you said, going for the throat. And what can he do? He's going to lose his wall here. He's going to lose his Cyber Core. 4 more gates on the way. They're not ready. If he could buy more time, where are the force fields? Okay, there they are.
Yeah, but at the same time, look at that full surround with all the Speedlings. I think sOo just ends this right here.
Yeah, the core is so late being remade. even if he has +2 and Blink and those extra gateways, he can't make anything without a core.
Yeah, gonna make a bunch of Zealots against all these Hydras? I don't think so.
Okay, soo's now going to transition to attacking the third base. There are 3 cannons here.
Yeah.
And another Nexus cannon is available. He's a force field these. I think he only has 1 force field. He decides not to.
He's just going to come in here and kill the rest of the army. Even if he doesn't kill SOS here, which I think he will, like, he's done so much critical damage at this point.
He's going to start killing these probes. The Nexus may even fall here. He needs those warp ends from those extra gates.
This is such a powerful build from the Zerg, especially on this map against Protoss, when they play in this specific way. And I'm glad that Zergs are beginning to figure this out.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like we're in a phase in StarCraft 2, and it feels like it's been very recent, where players are just starting to experiment and finding new ways, and people who can't keep up, people who can't adapt, are really just struggling.
It's like the Renaissance period of SC2 HOTS.
Yeah.
You had to wait like, what was it, 2.5 years or something?
About so, man. Right before Legacy, that's when people start to innovate. He now has DTs in just a moment to use to try to push this back, but they're never going to be able to make up for the damage that's done. He's going to have Hydra speed. He did all of that without Hydra speed. It's
currently 4 base to 2, and sO's sitting on 64 workers compared to 36 here of SOS. He blinks forward here, trying to catch some Hydras, understandably so. He has to find some damage, but tons of speedlings pushing through now. But he's not going to be able to commit. Not yet, at least.
DTs, let's see how much they get done. On the map right now, there's not a single Overseer.
Oh, boy.
But that doesn't necessarily mean these DTs are going to be able to do a massive amount of damage. He does have 3 of them. Let's see how well he splits them. The Nexus is being remade.
I mean, if he makes no detection at all, it can do a considerable amount of damage, maybe even snipe a base.
Yeah, it's just like, after he sees these, he just reacts, makes Overseers, and then kills them with Vipers to follow it up. Like, this needs to do insane, ungodly amounts of damage, and he already sees it because he accidentally showed those DTs. All right. Oh,
still
3
no
Overseers. Yeah, that was very late. He should have seen his base was under attack. GG.
It's just not going to be enough, and that's going to be it. SK Telecom's going to take a 3-0 against Jin Air. Jin Air goes down to 0-2 and -6 to start round 4.
I believe that puts them in last place.
Oh,
because Prime is
Prime won a game
-5. Yep.
Currently, Prime is doing better than Jin Air in this round. Just chalk that up. Put that on the board.
Yep. That's SKT making it look easy again today. Every single game was incredibly well played. Only the third one was one-sided, but the first 2 games, like, both players were in top spots, and they were able to take the win. Classic, struggling to deal with the nukes, but still prevailing. You know, in Game 2, Innovation, kind of against the ropes, against a massive creep spread. Was able to eventually wear his opponent down with that late game mech with those BCs. And then sOo, the smart attack here.
I love that style out of the Zergs on that map. Just say it again.
Who do you give MVP to? I'm asking. I'm getting the Valdez MVP picks today. Who'd you choose?
Well, I was wrong in the first one, unfortunately, because we had to talk to Solar, who's currently 2-13. But anyway, that aside, well, let's take a look here at these wins first. Classic over Maru, Innovation over Rogue, sOo over SOS. I think sOo, he kind of just replicated a build that Bjell's done, that many Zergs have done, I'm sure, on the ladder up there at the top. I wouldn't be sad to see Classic.
I'm happy with all 3. I think the one I would like to see the most is Classic, but I'd also be happy with sOo as well. So, honestly, any of them are good to me.
Let's talk to Dark.
Sad we didn't get to see him, man.
Let's see how disappointed he doesn't get to play today.
All right,
we go, guys.
Look at this. Jin Air below Prime, -6 and -5.
Take a picture of this.
This is history.
Yeah. SK Telecom on the other side of things, 2-0 +6, 2 3-0s from them.
If they beat KT Rolster, I feel like they're going to take the round undefeated without this dropping a single loss.
Who else is going to take it? Maybe CJ? Or did they already go down to SKT?
They did, I believe.
I think they did.
Well, looking at this this winners ranking as well, you can see that sOo is now the leading SKT player with that win, going up to 14 wins.
14-3, kind of reminding me of Roro of last season. You remember that?
Yeah.
He finished at like 18-6, something ridiculous like that. Keep in mind, Innovation there, 13-4. He gets a win. And below them, I think both Classic